Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Honestly Alice. I'm so happy that you're here today because today's show is actually really special. It happens to be my best friend Njambi's birthday, and I have her here on the show. No, she's not in Kenya. She lives here in New York. She's actually lived here longer than I have. But we're going to be talking about something that's very close to both of our hearts, and it is, what is success? But before I start, how did I do last week? Do I need to get back on the mama training wheels, or am I good to go? Please let me know what your feedback is. It's really appreciated. I understand that you're taking the time out of your day to listen to me, so I want to make sure that I'm not wasting your time. Plus, I just love hearing from you. One of my goals is always to better myself, so every new show should be better than the previous one, and I don't like mediocre. So your feedback is highly appreciated, and I just need to know if I'm on the right track. Just remember, this show is called Honestly Alice, so I can honestly that was good. I can honestly take everything you have to say. Side note, these next few shows are going to blow your mind. They are phenomenal. I cannot wait until you guys hear them. So before we have Njambi on, please join me in singing her happy birthday. I usually don't do this, but I do, but not on record, so the fact that this is going to be out there, Lord help me. Okay. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Njambi, happy birthday to you, yay! Happy birthday!
Woo-hoo.
Hi Njambi.
Hi, thank you for having me, Alice.
Thank you for coming. I don't think these guys are ready for this. They weren't ready. They weren't ready. For people that don't know, Njambi and I have been best friends since the 4th grade, but we're two very different people. But it works, and you'll see. Okay. So the other day I happened to land across two very in fact, one interesting situation, and I brought it up to Njambi, and she said this would make a pretty cool show. So I actually have 2 resumes in front of me, and I'll just read you, what their work experience is on both of them, and then you'll understand why. So person A, who has resume 1, this is their work experience. They've been a teaching assistant, a hip-hop writing assistant, a teacher, a creative arts therapist, a songwriting teacher / band manager, media press coordinator, and for the volunteer experience, they've worked with Afropunk Brooklyn and Youth Coalition for Community Action New York City. Person B, who has resume 2, their work experiences, they've been a sales associate at a Fortune 500 media company, a PR assistant, an international women's correspondent, programming and editorial intern, digital media intern, a hall director. Their volunteer experience involves NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers, NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists, and AmeriCorps under Jumpstart. Now, based on these 2 resumes, you would think that these 2 people are successful, right? Wrong. One of them is is currently unemployed, and the other one is working in their field and advancing their careers. Okay, maybe it's because I forgot to tell you how educated they are. Well, person A with resume 1 is still in school getting the bachelor's degree, and person 2 with resume B already graduated with their master's degree. So with that information, who do you think would be unemployed? It would have to be person A, right? Because they're still in school. That would make the most sense. But no, it's actually person B, the one with the master's degree. Something must be wrong with this picture, and I'm trying to figure out, what this is. So Njambi, what are your thoughts on this?
Get it together. This is a lot, when coming here from Africa, right? We both grew up in Kenya. There's certain standards that are set for us. It's you must go to school. You must get your bachelor's degree. You must get your master's degree. You must get your PhD. PhD. This is it. You are going to America for your education, and that is it. If you do not get your education, and not even your education, you have to be like a lawyer, a doctor, a pilot, something insane, not insane, but if you're not doing that, you're wasting your time, basically. So with that being said, when you come here, there's a lot of pressure on you already to get those degrees and then go out there in the field and be that doctor or be that lawyer or whatever it is, And for me, it was not like that, at all.
So when you hear these two, like when you hear both of these two people's resumes, and we're not going to reveal who these people are, when you hear their resumes, you would actually think that they should both be successful, correct?
Correct.
However, I think the issue here is a lot of us mistake successful and being accomplished, right? It sounds weird, but just hear me out. Okay, so according to the dictionary, a successful person is, if you're successful, it's when you're accomplishing an aim or a purpose, while accomplished is highly trained or skilled, right? So the person with the master's degree is technically accomplished, right? But the other person is successful, but we all want to, clump them under one huge bubble of success. But then the thing to me that's really just baffling me is, as you said, even regardless of the fact that we grew up in Kenya, society as a whole has painted this picture that success means you have attained these many degrees, this much work experience. There's like a ladder that you need to climb before you're deemed successful. And even though person B did that, they started the internships. If I look at the resume, they started the internships in their junior year of college. All throughout, getting through their masters, they did that. They not only got their undergraduate, but they went and they got their masters in their field, and they got a job in their field, but it only lasted for a couple of months, and they were out, but it's like they did everything that they were told to, because society said, for you to be successful, you have to go to school, right? But then they're not even working. But the other person who is going against society and is working in the field without the quote unquote requirements, because nowadays it's just like, for you to get a good job, you need to have a bachelor's, or not even a bachelor's, because a bachelor's degree is now like a high school diploma. Everybody and anybody is getting a bachelor's. Now they're all pushing for you to get a master's degree. But the person who doesn't even have one, like their first degree, is more successful than the one that has two. Like, what is wrong? Like, maybe you can help.
I think, first of all, in my opinion, society sets us up in the sense where it's like, okay, so you're born, then you go to kindergarten, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. You hear me? It's more college, and then it's after college, that 9 to 5. You're in an office, so you're literally being trained to work for someone else. However, if you do decide to go against the grain and you kind of take things into your own hands, it's like, okay, I understand that society is telling me from K through master's degree or PhD, if we get there, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm being trained to be somebody else's worker, and it's like, it's a control factor again. Society's controlling you, they're telling you what to do. If you take it a different step or a different route, for example, person A, they're doing whatever they want to do in their field, and they have a bunch of experience that they seem to be they're passionate about, or they're living their life that way. It's like, well, that person has decided that to them is the way they're going to live their life, and they're not going to be controlled by society or this like hierarchy of like, you have to go to your bachelor's and then your master's, and it's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. And when you look at both of them, you would think that person A who doesn't have their bachelor's, that they shouldn't be making good money, right? They shouldn't.
That's what society tells us.
That's what society tells you, right? But that's not the case, because person A is actually making good money.
But
like
also,
they're making more money than person B who had their masters.
right. And also, there's that old saying that goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there are people who, well, first of all, in any case, there are different people who learn differently, and they carry themselves in this world differently, right? So there could be person A and B who are personable, right? But then their network is a little bit different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So supposedly you're going to college to make this network work, right? You're paying all this money, you're giving out to this business, because that's what it is. It's a business. You're giving all this money, and then afterwards you're just left, just hanging almost. You have loans, you have debt, your network is not, it's not crazy, it's decent, you know what I mean, for most people that I speak to, So it's like,
It's very interesting, and it's also disheartening. When you meet, we happen to both know these two people, and it's disheartening when you see that one of them has actually done things by the book, and it's not, they've never, granted, both of them have never gotten in trouble with the law, they've done correct, but one has literally followed the script that was put in front of them. And even with doing all of that, they still have, all they can show is, okay, fine, they have their master's degree, and some people may say that's successful, but no, that's being accomplished. But then it gets me to thinking, is it because of the field that they're in? Because they're both creatives. They're in the arts, they're in media, they're in creative arts, would this be a different story if person A had pursued medicine, or had pursued archaeology, or had pursued law? Would we be having a very different conversation, because both people are in the same field. One more educated, quote unquote, if you want to go by society standards, than the other. But even with that education, it's not doing anything, So do you think it's because of the field that they're in that has made it hard for them to even be deemed successful?
It's a good question. I want to say yes, and then I want to say no.
Okay.
I say yes, because as a creative, it's hard. It's hard to First of all, was it you and I who were talking about this? There's creatives everywhere now on Instagram. It's accessible. People are models. They're Instagram models. Then there's their Instagram dancers everywhere, and it's just, social media has really tainted and changed the way we view art. So in that sense, it's harder for you to be taken more seriously, as an artist, because there's so many other people, there's a lot more competition. But then on the other hand, on the flip side to that, it's if you play your cards right, if you're in a creative field, that's a lot of networking. It's a lot of people.
Because everyone seems to know everybody.
Exactly. Once you're in that field, it's so someone knows someone that you know, and you guys can collaborate and build, hopefully, right? But back to what you were saying in the beginning, not in the beginning, but earlier, when you were saying, if say person A had pursued maybe a law degree, would it be different? I absolutely believe it would be different. I think that when it comes to things like law and medicine, archaeology, all these things, that's strictly by the books.
So then, so in those cases, then you have to follow.
You have to follow the book. You know what I mean? To be deemed as successful, right? Which in itself is difficult, because success is not just one tangible thing, right? It's not, there is the dictionary definition, but then it's also success to me personally is waking up every day and doing something that you're passionate about, unapologetically, just you wake up each day and you tell yourself, this is me, I'm alive, I can do this. And it's just those little things. That's for me. But then for someone else, it could be making that 1 point something mil, you know what I'm saying? And getting that house, whatever it is, what is success to you, actually, Alice?
That's a good question. I think I'm still trying to figure that out I think with me starting Honestly Alice, that's already going against the grain. But I think, I don't know. I think I'm still trying to discover that. But I agree with you. I think success for everyone is different, but I also think sometimes you may not know what success is, or success may be so far reached that you never achieve it. In the sense that, because earlier I said that my goal is to make sure that my show, every next show is better than the next one. Every day when I wake up, I want to be a better Alice than I was yesterday. Therefore, I will never be the ultimate Alice, because in my eyes, there's always room for improvement. Therefore, I think for me then, success is once I've had my last breath and I've died. Then you can say Alice was successful. But for as long as I still have another day to live, I still have room for improvement. I feel like success is the ceiling. Like once you get there, there's nowhere else to go. So if somebody is deeming you as successful, then they're automatically, I feel like they're already putting you like in a bottle cap and just saying that now you have nowhere else to go. It's just like there's no more room for improvement, and I don't want to be put in that. I would prefer somebody saying, oh, you've accomplished a lot, as opposed to you're successful, because if you're saying I'm successful, then you're not expecting me to give more of myself. You're not expecting me to better myself or to exceed your expectations of what I've already done. So ultimately, that's what I think it is. But I think you brought up a very good point about social media. And I was going to ask, with social media, especially in the arts and in the creative, it has made it hard for the people who have decided that is their craft, and they know that that's what they're good at, and have pursued it in the books. So yes, you may have 20,000 likes on Instagram or whatever, but a lot of the times, like there's this I forget their name, but there's this very famous Vine couple who always do like these videos together.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're great. I have to find their name. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't remember their name right now. But people are just like, oh, like, are they deemed successful because they're social media Vine, actors? But then if you look at their background, the wife, she went to school for acting. She actually learned the craft. It just so happened to be that social media was the platform that got her to be noticed. But then on the other hand, you have people who have decided, I'm going to use social media as a quick ticket to money and to fame. But they don't have anything backing them up. And somebody may be like, oh, what is she talking about? Here she is having a podcast. She's using social media to promote herself. But check my credentials. I have a master's degree in communication studies. I actually know what I'm talking about. Like, I've learned what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking to talk. There's a method to my madness. But there's loads of people out there who just want to plaster their name on it, and then it makes it that much harder for those people who know I am a creative at heart.
Yeah.
Social media is the type of thing where social media has made it something where you can wake up tomorrow and be like, I want to be famous. I want to be an artist. I want to be a model. I want to be, a poet. I want to be, no. Like, why is it that people feel that with the creatives, you can do that, but you can't just wake up and decide, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a pilot. Like, why is it that, the creatives, people think that the creatives is a field where anybody can enter, but not everybody has the skill for it. And I think I promise I will let John say something. But don't you think that the creative field is one of those fields where it's so broad that to be boxed into that 9 to 5, these many degrees, makes it hard?
It does. No, I agree. And I lost my train of thought because I was like, she's like, I'm gonna let you talk, and I'm like, but it's a difficult one. It's always a difficult one because, of course, as an artist and as a creative at heart, which I do believe I've always been, it's like those 20,000 followers, whatever, or whoever it is, that's 10,000 likes, whatever, they're not going to pay your bills. You know, they're not going to put food on your plate. You know, at the first of the month, you got to still pay that rent. You know what I mean?
In New York, so, mad expensive.
Right. You know what I mean? Boy.
Let's not go there.
That's a whole nother, like,
whole nother show. Yeah.
But, it's kind of like, it's almost, I want to say not disrespectful, but it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful.
The word is disrespectful.
It is. It's disrespectful in a way because it's like, for me, I can decipher now who's who, depending on like what they're doing. But there's a lot of people out there who are just like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna be Vine famous. Because why not? Do it for the gram, you know, do it for the Vine. And it's like, okay, cool, but what about that person who's been hustling for like 10 plus years or 5 plus years, doing filmmaking, whatever art it is, painting, you know, it's just like, it really takes on a different connotation, you know,
and therefore making it hard for you to be successful.
Super hard. Like super, super hard. But then, on the flip side, I do want to say this. If there are any creatives, I'm sure there are a lot of creatives listening here. I think that if you do have a vision, and you're passionate about it, and you want to pursue that, no matter what's going on, at the end of the day, if it is from the heart, and it's your experience, and it's true to you and what's happening, people will see that. They will feel it, they will support you, and it will be okay. Like, we gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, that's basically the way I feel. You know, no matter what, it may take a while. Like, I feel like everything takes a while. But it may be like, sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it takes 2 years. Whatever that amount of time it is, if you stay true to yourself and your narrative and your experience, like, you cannot go wrong. Like, that's how I feel about the phonies and the disrespectful people out there who are on Instagram flexing. Because that's what they're doing, they're flexing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you, and I think the most important lesson here is, you know, before you want to go and pick up, you know, a career in something, you know, have respect for it. You know, you don't need to have 2 degrees or a PhD to be successful. At least do your background on the craft. Read some books. Know certain names. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be a model, you need to have at least some headshots. You need to be in an agency. You know, like, if you are a musician, you need to have a songwriter. You at least need to, like, play an instrument or can read music. You know, like, you can learn your craft by yourself, because the beauty of the internet is everything is on the internet. Like, you can actually learn, well, I don't think you can learn how to be a doctor. I wouldn't try it. But you can learn how to, you know, how to do that. But, you know, just be respectful of the creatives, because there's a lot of us creatives out here who are working hard. We are working very hard to make it. You know, but then I also think there's some people who, if that is your talent, if that is your calling, if that is what you were born to do, it doesn't matter how educated you are. Like, you will just be good at it, and people will see it and they will respect it, you know? So, that was good.
That was deep.
That was deep. And ladies and gentlemen, those are the type of conversations I have with my bestie Njambi. And I really do, like, and I'm grateful that she came, you know, and that she can still express herself, you know, as she usually would, minus, you know, I told her not to, like, swear.
I was like, man.
No. You know, we have to be, what's the word, cognizant?
Yes,
we have to be cognizant of closeness. But I just wanted to say, Njambi, thank you so much for coming. And I will give you 15. In fact, you know what? I'll give you your 20 seconds of fame, since it is your birthday.
Oh, yeah?
So sell who Njambi is, what she does, and everything, because I bet you there's people who are just like, yo, Alice's bestie, I'm about that life. So.
All right, my name is Njambi Morgan, Njamba Juice, NJAMBA_juice on Instagram. See what I did there? Njamba Juice. Anyway, so I am a poet, I'm a writer, I I like to call myself a healer, but what I go by technically is a creative arts therapist. If you guys want to follow my work, check out Black Love, the Black Love Project, BLACKQ Love. That's on Instagram, and Black Love stands for Because Love Always Creates Kings and Queens. All right, stay blessed, y'all. Thank you.
But before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, but especially ladies, next week you will definitely want to listen in because next week's episode is called The Questions Every Lady Would Love Answered by a Man.
Ooh,
I know, right?
honestly, Alice.
I'm having a good friend of mine on the show who is happy to answer your questions, so make them good. You know, it's a one-time shot. You know, he's excited about it. So private message me with your questions. And ladies, come on, let's finally get some answers. Fellas, you definitely want to listen in. You know, you want to take some tips.
Take notes,
lots of notes. But maybe you just want to hear the questions that the ladies have. You know, so one, you're getting an insight into a lady's mind, but you also don't want to end up being the next dude that does her wrong or hearing about the next dude that does your sister or your cousin wrong, you know. So thank you guys so much for listening. This is Honestly Alice. May your dreams become your reality, and I'll see you next week. Bye!